speech in the Greek parliament saying, I don't need to have a referendum as long as I can get the Greek right-wing opposition to agree with me in a national unity government. Now,
so let me stop you. What you're saying here is the banksters didn't want Greece to default until the Euro deal had gone through to give the banksters $5 trillion and more power over the states. Now that they've done that, now they do want to have it default to create even more carnage.
No, I wouldn't put it that way. They're trying to stave off default by, as you say, this whole idea of the European Financial Stability Fund. It's about 500 trillion, and 500 billion, and they want to use derivatives. They want to use credit default swaps and other derivatives. In other words, the cause of the crisis. They want to use that to increase the firepower, as they say, of the EFSF, European Financial Stability Fund. This is all crazy. It's physically impossible for the Greeks to pay that debt.
No, exactly, Webster. It's physically impossible, and we've covered all this ground before.
Oh, wait. The new thing, this is what's coming at you, right, coming at all of us right now, is this model where Papandreou says to the head of the New Democracy Party, who are the reactionaries, right? They're like the Republicans. This is a party that has been sitting on the sidelines and sniping, right? Sort of what the Republicans do in Congress. Now, Papandreou turns to this guy, Samaras, and says to him, join me in a national unity government. It's going to be the PASOK, the socialists, and the reactionaries together. Now, what would that mean here in the U.S.? It would mean a national unity government of Obama and the Republicans. And where would that occur? Where could that take shape? The 12 tyrants. This is the thing. The 12 tyrants are going on behind the scenes, right? I'm talking about the Congressional Super Committee created by this rotten, despicable compromise that both parties agreed to after the debt crisis, right, at the end of July, beginning of August, with the threat by the reactionaries to drive the country into bankruptcy. One of the results of that was to create this group of 12 members of Congress, right, 6 Republican hacks, 6 Democratic hacks, right, 6 reactionary Republicans and 6 Wall Street Democrats, and they're now working behind the scenes. The chairs are Patty Murray of Washington State, Wall Street Democrat, and Hensarling, congressman from Texas, reactionary Republican. Now, if you look at the model that's being launched for Greece of the national unity government to push genocidal austerity, to ram genocidal austerity down the throats of people, the form in which this would occur here in the United States is on November 23rd, the 12 tyrants, the super committee, come forward with their solution, and they say, well, we were supposed to come up with 1.2 trillion of genocidal budget cuts against the American people, but that's not enough. We're going to have 4 trillion, 5 trillion of genocidal budget cuts so that we can please Standard & Poor's and Moody's and Fitch. And that would then be the precursor for some kind of a rotten deal along these lines. Now,
but Webster, Webster, we need to quantify this for new listeners. The point is, you can't pay back the 1,500 plus trillion in garbage that criminal government has signed us onto that isn't our debts.
Well, that zombie banks have created. Zombie banks.
Yeah.
Thanks to deregulation. What the government did was to deregulate it because, again, from 1936 to 1982, derivatives were strictly illegal, and they should stay illegal.
Yes, but then expanding on that, the bipartisan crooks that did this, bought and paid for by these criminal elements in Wall Street, they've now done this, and now they've got the super Congress, and you notice they're slashing all the infrastructure, but then raising taxes to pay it to them, and the destination is the journey. They mean to impoverish us in the post-industrial eugenics religion that they publicly follow, the tropism, as you've called it, the suicide bankers, who are just destroying the system in the name of total power. So the question is, expanding on this, why do they want the war now? To make it a political diversion? I mean, what do you make of this? I have to keep going back to this Iran thing, because that's the big immediate deal that'll be the patriotic diversion while we're in a new big war, while the bankers can, rob us blind while we're busy watching this. The Israeli prime minister has ordered an investigation into Iran leak. Kuwait paper says Benjamin Netanyahu believes the heads of the Mossad and Shin Bet may have leaked plans for an attack. Skousen saying that's all just part of theater to act like all of Israel isn't involved in this so they can flush Netanyahu if they, if this goes bad. But Netanyahu's gone is basically saying they're getting ready to hit. So my question is, why do they want this war now?
Well, whether they want it 100% beyond the theater, I think, is still a bit of an open question. And again, it's harder for them to do it because we got rid of at least we're on the way to getting rid of the weak, lame duck Medvedev. And indeed, part of this whole scenario may be to prevent Putin from making the full comeback that they also hate and fear. But here's the idea. If you have such a war with Iran, the response of Iran is to close the Straits of Hormuz, right? Cutting off oil. That oil, if it's cut off, destroys who? It destroys Europe, Japan, and above all, China. And it drives up the price of the dollar. It creates a huge increase in the price of oil. And since the dollar is still a reserve currency, this means that you have a tremendous artificial demand for dollars. And they say, well, if we have a nice little war in the Persian Gulf, then the Iranians will do us the favor of cutting off the tanker traffic. That will mean the price of oil goes to $500 or $1,000 a barrel. And at that point, the dollar overhang is absorbed out of the liquidity that's sloshing around.
No, all roads lead to war. It's the health of the state, as they say. This is what these type of crooks always do. I mean, so do you believe it's imminent, or are you saying it's not?
To coin a phrase, turn the imperialist foreign war into a revolutionary civil conflict, let's say, to a revolutionary social movement at home, to embroider a previously existing phrase. In other words, the answer to all this, if you want to build mass resistance to this, you've got to do it with demands that have actual mass traction. And that's where you get the Wall Street sales tax of 1% means no cuts, no to the recipes coming from the 12 tyrants.
All right, stay there.
Stop all.
Did you know nuclear radiation is still spewing out of the melted down reactors in Fukushima, Japan, and making its way across the entire U.S. continent, contaminating the air, water, and food? Dangerously high levels of radiation are a reality here. As a result, radiation poisoning is a distinct possibility for anyone living in the U.S. unless you do something to protect yourself. How? With liquid zeolite from RestoreYourHealthNow.com. Without a doubt, liquid zeolite is by far the best product to remove radiation from your body. It safely removes toxins and heavy metals, boosts energy levels, and promotes a strong immune system. Liquid zeolite is so powerful it was used to clean up contamination in Chernobyl, yet so gentle you won't even know you're taking it. Liquid zeolite comes with a money-back guarantee, but is only available at RestoreYourHealthNow.com. Learn how to get free bottles of liquid zeolite by calling 800-880-9976. That's 800-880-9976. Or go to RestoreYourHealthNow.com. That's RestoreYourHealthNow.com.
Alex Jones here with vital information concerning our nation's fragile food supply. Folks, there are some truly dangerous trends forming, and I think it's important for my listeners to do three things right away. Number one, study the past. History really does repeat itself. Number two, learn to spot the dangerous food shortage trends. Number three, take decisive action. A perfect storm is brewing for a global food crisis. That's why I'm telling everyone to read the new book, Rising Prices, Empty Shelves. Warning signs that trigger the deadliest famines in history. Don't get caught unprepared when the crisis hits. This book is only available at risingpricesemptyshelves.com. You'll also get a free copy of Supermarket Survival, How to Cut Your Grocery Bills in Half. Again, that website is risingpricesemptyshelves.com. That's risingpricesemptyshelves.com. This is Alex Jones with 5 good reasons you should consider buying a solar power generator. Number 1, new climate legislation could easily double or triple your electric bill. Number 2, our new energy czar wants to control how much power your electric company allows you to have. It's true. Total government control of electricity in the name of smart grid technology is coming. Number 3, in some areas of the country, the power grid is dangerously overloaded. And now, new socialist legislation is only compounding the problem. Number 4, dangerous weather is always a threat to local grids. Every year, thousands of families lose their power from weather-related outages. Number 5, a solar power generator provides powerful backup insurance and peace of mind. Folks, I really believe in the solar power generators offered by Solutions from Science, one of my oldest sponsors. You can get more information at www.mysolarbackup.com. That's mysolarbackup.com.
Remember, the government doesn't own the sun, so go to mysolarbackup.com or call 1-877-327-0365.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back live. By the way, we had the donation line where it kind of went into voicemail Hades. Now it just goes directly to the InfoWars cruise. If you want to donate to the InfoWars 2011 Money Bomb, it is available right now, InfoWarsMoneyBomb.com. You can also go to Infowars.com and donate if you believe in this operation. It's simple. The globalists take your money and use it against you. We're saying donate if you want us to expand the nightly news, expand the shows, expand the reporters, and everything we're doing. The most important thing to do, and a lot of folks are watching it right now, is to go to Infowars.com and send the link out that talks about the 24 or 27-hour transmission out to everyone you know. Again, it is available right now at Infowars.com. And let me just tell you the schedule verbally here for everybody. Joel Skousen was on. We're with Webster Tarpley. Katherine Albrecht's coming up. George Noory, David Icke, Mike Adams, Texe Mars, the Corbett Report folks, Springmeier, Aaron Dykes, Paul Watson, Richard Reeves, Gerald Celente, Alan Watt, Jim Mars, and Bob Chapman, and many others. We're broadcasting right through until 2 o'clock tomorrow, 2 o'clock tomorrow, 2 o'clock tomorrow, and then, of course, 2 p.m. Central. And then, of course, we have the Sunday transmission, 4 to 6 p.m. and back on Monday here. Again, InfoWarsMoneyBomb.com is the website. And if that site gets sluggish because it's getting so many visitors, you can go to Infowars.com and find the page right there on the front page. That is titled there for you, InfoWars launches 24-hour offensive against tyranny. And if you go to that, it has all the different players and everything, and send that out to everybody you know. Because we've got all these guests coming up, got some surprises coming up later in the broadcast today. Going back to Webster Tarpley, you know, Webster, I've studied what the communist Chinese do. I don't know why the left loves them so much. They execute homosexuals over there. I saw some person dressed up in a Mao outfit at an Occupy Wall Street deal saying he loves Mao because he's gay and America doesn't like him. And they go over there, they'd murder him. I'm not talking about the general Chinese people, but the government. You've got Russia, incredibly corrupt. I mean, I don't romanticize any of this. You've got the corrupt banks running us. It's just all a bunch of crooks fighting with each other while we, the people, are on the bottom of it. You've got the Iranians that have had their government overthrown over and over again. You've got all this stuff happening. I agree the Western elite is in crisis, but so are the others, Webster. And I just see this going from bad to worse. What's your comment on that?
Let's look at the tactical strategic situation. We have the bad, right? The bad would be Sarkozy, Merkel, and this crew with lots and lots of others attached to them. And then we have the worst. And the worst are Obama, Hillary, Geithner, Bernanke. We've got Cameron in London. We've got Osborne, the Chancellor of the Exchequer. Those guys are the worst because they represent the most virulent, destructive form of speculative finance capital the world has ever seen, right? The derivative center, London. I was on TV yesterday with a guy who said, London is the center, the premier financial center of the world. And they mean to keep that, okay? And the world be damned. So when you see the bad fighting the worst, it's something good, first of all, because it diminishes the net amount of evil in the world. But at that point, it's better to see the bad win out over the worst. And specifically, the fight is about this Wall Street sales tax.
Stay there. 5 more minutes, Webster. We'll be right back. Stay with us. 27 hours.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
When you're out on the road, the last place you want to be is on the road. But if the unfortunate happens, you'll be glad you were wearing diamond gussets.
There's a place down in Tennessee where they make blue diamond gusset jeans. They so pride in every stitch, guarantee you love the way they fit. Put a diamond gusset in the crotch where you need it most. Blue diamond gussets got it, others don't.
we turn jeans inside out. Diamond Gusset Jeans. Made in the USA with unparalleled quality. Our Defender